Marhaba, Privit, and Kumusta. Hey, it's Tom from Green Shorts. And today I'm going to do some modifications to Vac-n-Foam to make it operate a little more like I hoped it would the first time. The main thing I'm going to do is add in some stainless steel wool instead of the window screen to see if I can generate a richer foam. I got a few more mods in store in addition to that, so let's get started. Now, I didn't glue this thing up to begin with, and that was so I could make these modifications. The reason that FrankenFoam is named FrankenFoam is because I had to slice and dice him a few times. There's a problem, and FrankenFoam is going under the knife. I'm sorry you had to see that. I didn't glue Vac-n-Foam so I could just take it apart and reconfigure. One addition I'm going to make is I found a 2-inch T-valve that has a clean out on one side that's threaded. So I'm going to use this over the reservoir area to allow me to load in the foaming solution. And I am going to go ahead and glue this connection. I had a recommendation one time in the comments to glue both sides of the connection to get a good tight fit. And you know me, I like to listen to people in the comments. They often have great ideas and good suggestions. I'm going to twist this joint to get it snug. Another mod I'm going to make is I'm going to put the section of the diffusion tube that I cut off back on, just because I want more airflow than I was getting during that second test. So I picked up a coupling, just going to couple that back together. I lost a few holes in that connection, but I think it'll be good to test. I'm going to use a broomstick to push out the window screen. The window screen was a pretty nice solution, and I do think the nylon worked better than the stainless steel window screen. So if I had to do this again, I would use more of it and go with just the nylon. I'm going to replace that with the stainless steel wool, and I picked up this pack on Amazon for 10 bucks, and it's actually the stainless steel wool that's used to block critters from getting into your house. It's also blocking me from opening this package. Alright, let's see. So as opposed to the stainless steel wool pads that I used last time, this is just a roll. Before I add the stainless steel wool, I'm going to go ahead and put in the diffusion section. For now, I'm just going to leave that as a pressure fitting in case I want to go in and make adjustments to the diffusion tube. But now that I've got this in here, I can go ahead and feed in the stainless steel wool. I'm going to do this kind of by bunching it up, twisting it around. I don't want this to go in evenly. What I'm trying to do is not allow a path of least resistance for the foam through the stainless steel wool. I want it to have to work to get through it, and in doing so, dividing itself into tighter and tighter bubbles. Alright, I'm feeling some resistance, so I think I've probably got a good 12 inches of stainless steel in there. So let me pull this apart. It feels like it's up against the end of the diffusion tube there. So I've got as much in there as I can right now. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put the end cap on here. Again, just a pressure fitting for now. My last modification is here on the other end. I was actually overflowing some of my solution into the vacuum hose. So to make the reservoir a little bit deeper, I'm going to add about 5 inches of 1.5 inch PVC. And then the coupling to attach the vac hose. So it's time to try it out. I realized I put on the reservoir pipe backwards. I'm gonna switch that up. Wanted my straight comp weight down here, so it went more vertical. While I'm at it, I am gonna go ahead and glue this joint to that elbow. I see one more mod I want to make. The way this sits, this opening is way too low for how much liquid I'm going to be putting in this system. So I want this to sit higher up on the reservoir. I am pretty confident that this elbow is going to stay attached to that, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this connection while I'm here. As I reconnect this elbow though, I want to make sure that these nozzles are facing down. Alright, now I'm going to reconnect with the extension. Alright, that should give me enough reservoir to hold my 2 cups of solution. It's also making Vac-n-Foam look like a respectable FrankenFoam. By the way, I am very pleased with how FrankenFoam works, using a tire inflator or air compressor to make foam for Aircrete. That's a nice rich foam. My whole premise for making Vac-n-Foam was based on a suggestion I had in the comments, and the fact that I'm guessing that more of you have shop vacs than have air compressors or even tire inflators. So the goals here are to be simple, accessible, and easy to DIY. I've got an inner tube wrapped around the end of my vac hose here to help seal that connection. And of course I have my vacuum cleaner hose hooked up to the output instead of the inlet because I want it pushing air instead of pulling it. I'm going to mix up my standard foaming solution of 1 ounce of 7th generation dish soap. Say that 6 times. And I choose this because it's got glycerin in it, which helps hold the bubbles. And then I'm going to top that off with 2 cups of water. Going a little bit above the 2 cup mark there because I've already got 1 ounce of liquid in there. I'll make a little bit of a mess here just because the surface tension of the water has been changed by the soap, and so it wants to spill out a little bit. I'm going to add a couple of turns of Teflon tape to these threads just to tighten up the seal. Alright, and now for the test. But not before eyes and ears, JW. Okay, nothing's coming through. Too much resistance. The rats can't get through it, and neither can the foam. So I'm going to troubleshoot this by taking out some of the stainless. Alright, so it's wet to about here. So I'll remove about this much and try again. Alright, so it's pushing through a little bit, but it's water, not foam. Alright, so clearly this is making foam. It's just not getting all the way down. Let me just try less stainless. Alright, take 3. Alright, I'm pushing some foam. It's coming pretty slowly. Ah, but this is nice and rich. It's definitely tighter and more rich than the screen was producing. I still would like to see more rate of flow, so let me see if I can't take out some more of the stainless and then try again. So it looks like about 3 feet of stainless is going in. Alright, still making good foam, and the rate's a little faster, but it's still not fast enough for my liking. Certainly not what I'd seen on the air compressor or tire inflator option. So here's my thinking, that the pressure on this vac is probably significantly lower than what I would get from a tire inflator or from an air compressor. The tire inflator, I think I measured at about 10 psi. Now that's more like it. It's good foam generation. Still not as much as the air compressor was producing, but this looks pretty good. The air compressor I usually run about 40 psi, so a lot more pressure. Even the experiment I did to make foam using an old tire for air pressure generated better foam. I didn't stop here. I actually did several more modifications to see if I could improve the rate of flow. I put the window screen back in along with some of the stainless steel, and the results weren't any better. In fact, they were even a little bit worse. The foam was a little more open, not quite as tight. And I wasn't gonna make you sit through all that video. So I'm actually in the middle of the edit of this video right now, and I came to this conclusion. I think Vac-n-Foam is an option for you if you have a shop vac. For me, I'm gonna go with FrankenFoam using probably the tire inflator because I love the control I can have to turn it on and off. The air compressor actually blows out the first little bit of fluid without it being made into foam. So that medium pressure, if you will, of the tire inflator I think is the best option for me. If you're going to make Vac-n-Foam, here's what I recommend. Try some different mediums. Try the screen, maybe get some stainless steel mesh, and experiment with how much you need to get the right rate of flow and a nice rich foam. So experimentation has been the way that I've learned to make Aircrete, and it has been a process, but I'm just now feeling comfortable with using the material. Concrete is not the greenest material, but using it to make Aircrete does make it more sustainable because you're using less of it. And it also opens up the possibilities for some pretty interesting projects. Because you can pick up the plans for FrankenFoam on my website, and I'll put a link to that in the card here, but also in the description below. I'm going to start doing more experimentation with making stuff with Aircrete, and I've actually got some fun stuff in mind. I will be completing the prototype of the tabletop fire pit, and then I've got some rocket stove ideas I want to try as well. I know you're not surprised to hear that. I hope that you'll experiment with Aircrete as well. Special thanks to my patrons and members for supporting this channel and helping make these videos possible. I'm grateful for your vote of confidence and support. As always, my mission here at Green Shorts is to help you see green so you can be green. And save a little green by doing it yourself. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next Saturday.